Good morning. My name is Colleen Reynolds. Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Metro Atlanta North congregation, which we affectionately call UUMAN. And welcome to UUMAN's first ever young adult worship service. Imagine a spiritual community where diversity is celebrated and all are welcome, where children are taught to love, not to fear, where different beliefs are considered a strength. Whomever you love, wherever you are on your spiritual or life journey, you are welcome here. Please join us for online coffee and conversation at 11:15 this morning. The link can be found in the UUMAN announcements message sent on Friday and on the UUMAN website.
Today's call to worship is by Sweet Home Teacup. May we recognize and abandon the familiar attitudes and practices that do not serve the whole. We are who we are, and we have the opportunity to be who we want to be, to create a new inheritance for the future. May our thoughts, words, and actions in our daily lives assist in dismantling paradigms of oppression and suffering. May we give thanks for our individual place in time and space, to our families and our relationships that touch us and change us. May we give thanks to the wise teachers who help us remember how to be and the chance to make it so. Underneath and within these stories and histories is our humanity. Being human means we are of this earth. We are these waters. We are fire and atmosphere. We are the sun and the moon and the stars. We are all that we see, and the wisdom is revealed by looking in between.
Let us light our chalice together. Love is the doctrine of this church. The quest for truth is its sacrament, and service is its prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge in freedom, to serve humankind in fellowship. Thus do we promise to each other. Thus do we promise to each other.
Hi, my name is Emma. I am one of the young adults at UUMAN, and today I'm going to share with you all one of my favorite stories from Norse mythology. It's a story primarily about Thor, and it's actually kind of long, so I'm sort of skipping to the good part to save us a little bit of time. But basically, Thor, who I think we all know is the god of thunder, he wakes up one day and decides he's a little bit bored. He hasn't had a good fight in a while, so he asks Loki, one of the other gods, if he would like to travel with him to the city of the giants so Thor can see what they've been up to and maybe, see if he can't pick a few fights. Because technically the giants are the enemies of the gods. So Thor is going to see if maybe he can do something about that. So Loki agrees, and the two of them start traveling, and along the way they meet a family of peasants and invite the son and daughter to come with them. So where we're starting is when this group of 4 arrives at the city of the giants. They had not traveled far when Thor spied a large city looming up before them, and soon they came to Utgard, the home of the fierce giants. Although it was surrounded by high walls, Thor and his friends were able to creep through the bars of the great gate. When they came to the palace and found its door open, they went inside, and there sat all the giants with their king, Utgard Loki, at their head. A quite different Loki was this giant from the mischievous god Loki from Asgard, who now stood before him. So we have two Lokis, Utgarda Loki, who is the giant king, and Loki the god. Upon seeing the four strangers, the king of the giants said, "Why, this must be the god Thor. I really did not suppose that you were such a little fellow, but probably you are stronger than you look. Now, before you sit down at our table, you must each show us some proof of your strength." Then Loki, who was very hungry by this point, said he was sure he could eat more than anybody else. So the king called one of the giants to come forth, saying to Loki, "If you can indeed eat more than one of my men, you will have performed a great feat." So a huge trough full of meat was brought in, and Loki began eating at one end, while the giant began at the other. They reached the center together, but Loki had eaten only the meat, while the giant had devoured meat, bones, trough, and all. Thialfi, the peasant boy, took his turn next, and he boasted that he was the fastest runner of them all. "Oh," said the king, "it will be a most wonderful feat if you can win a race against one of my men." Now, the first time Thialfi ran the course, he kept ahead until near the end, and he was beaten by only a few yards. The second time he came off worse, and the third time he was only halfway around when the giant had reached the goal. Thor, however, was not at all cast down by the failure of his friends, and he proposed to try a drinking match. So the king brought forth a long drinking horn and said, "My men usually empty this in one drink. If they are very thirsty, though, sometimes they have to take it in 2 swallows or even 3. Then Thor put his lips to the drinking horn and took one long, deep pull, thinking he had surely emptied it, but to his surprise, the water had lowered only a few inches. Again, he lifted the horn, feeling sure he should empty it this time, yet he did no better than before. Then the king said, "You have left a great deal for your last drink." This made Thor try his very best, but it was of no use. He could not drain the horn. "So you are not as strong as you seemed after all. Do you care to try anything else?" said the king of the giants in a mocking tone. "Oh, certainly, anything you like," replied Thor. "Well," said the king, "I will give you something easy this time, since I see you are not as strong as I expected. You may try to lift my cat from the floor. It would be mere child's play for one of my men to do so." Thor put out his hand to lift the cat, but he could only raise one of its paws, even though he used all of his strength. "Well, it is no more than I expected," said the king. "You boast of your strength, but you do not show it to us." Now, by this time, Thor was getting very angry, and he spoke fiercely. "I will challenge any one of you to fight with me." The king looked about the hall to find someone small enough to wrestle with Thor. Soon a bent old woman came hobbling in, and Thor thought it would be nothing to overcome her. But the longer they wrestled, the stronger the old woman became, and at last, when it was plain that she was going to win, and Thor had been thrown down upon the ground, the king called for them to stop. Thor and his friends were then invited to sit at the feast, and the next morning, after a good breakfast, they started on their journey homeward. Utgarda Loki, the giant king, went with them to the city gate, and when he was about to leave them, he said, "Do you find it as easy as you expected to overthrow the giants?" "No," said Thor, who was too honest to hide his shame. "I am vexed that I have done so little, and I know that after this failure you will all laugh at my weakness." "No, indeed," replied the king. "Since you are now well outside of our strongholds, I will tell you the truth about what you saw in there, and I will take good care not to let you in again. You have greatly surprised us all, for we did not dream that you were so strong, and I have had to use magic to hold out against you." Loki was a wonderful eater, but we matched him against fire, and who can devour more than fire itself? The boy, Thialfi, was a swift runner, so I had to make him race against thought in order for me to beat him. What can be swifter than a thought? The horn from which you drank was the ocean, and you took such a mighty drink that the people in Midgard saw the tide ebb. Midgard is where we live, so we saw the tides of the ocean move because of Thor. It was really not a cat that you tried to lift, but the Midgard serpent who surrounds all the world's oceans. And you pulled him so far that we feared he would let go his hold. And then you wrestled with old age. And who is there that can overcome old age? With these words, the giant king vanished, and Thor, upon looking around, saw that the city of Utgard was also gone. Then, silently, but with many thoughts of these strange things, Thor and Loki, with the boy and the girl, made their way back to Asgard. The end! Thank you, guys.
Within the loving community of this congregation, we take time to share with one another our joys and sorrows. Mark and Lori Wheeler have a sorrow that they shared. Dennis Matus, age 59, passed away Friday from COVID-19. He was a good neighbor and friend. He leaves behind a wife, Kathy, and 2 adult children, Brenna and Colin. His kind spirit will be missed. Please keep the family in your prayers, and I'll drop a pebble for them. I will add 1 additional pebble to the water to represent those joys and sorrows left unspoken. May we hold them close to our hearts and add them one by one to the fabric of this community and to the tapestry of this congregation.
The power of intention. I have a dry erase checklist on the inside of my front door that I look at every morning before I leave my apartment. Like most morning checklists, it helps me remember to put my phone in my pocket and unplug the coffee pot. However, the most important part of my list is at the bottom. It says, after everything else has been checked off, have you set your intention for the day? This to me is how I set my mood for the day. My intention is my secret goal, a promise to myself. Setting an intention is my way of holding myself accountable for something I chose to do. Some days it could be more concrete, such as, today I will speak my mind during the weekly staff meeting. Other days it's more fluid, such as, today I will be gentler with myself. Intentions are promises we make to ourselves. They are secret plans, personal. Many of us set intentions when we do our spiritual work. When we draw cards from a tarot deck and ask a question, we are setting the intention to follow guidance given to us from our spread. When we light a candle and ask for creativity or protection, we are setting our intention to be receptive to what is given to us through this action. Spell work or prayer wouldn't be the same without setting an intention first. So why not apply this method to our daily activities? We can set intentions through everything we do. A dance can be performed with intention. Songs can be sung. Stories can be written. All of these things can be done with a plan in mind. Intentions don't have to be spiritual, but I feel they are necessary for a healthy life. Without making plans and goals for ourselves, it's easy to wander through life just letting things happen to us and then feeling lost or out of control. Unfortunately, sometimes that is how life goes. But with intentions in place, we can handle these events better. For instance, if my daily intention is to be more mindful of my emotions, and I'm overloaded with projects as soon as I walk into work, I've already set the groundwork to handle this event more evenly. I can look at the stack of paperwork and say to myself, this is a lot of work to do. I'm already feeling anxious, but I'm mindful of this and can get through that emotion. I can then think through my feelings rather than be overwhelmed. Intentions can be big or small. You could set one to write a book in 6 months, but that might seem daunting and hard to accomplish. However, setting an intention to write for 30 minutes every night might be a better start. These small plans lead to bigger accomplishments and give us things that make us feel wonderful when they've been accomplished. Start small. Set an intention tomorrow when you wake up. Set it with your best life in mind. Set a small goal for yourself and hold yourself to it. Then, when you lay down to rest that night, reflect on the small goal you had set and rest easy knowing you accomplished something that day. something special, and something just for you.
Good morning. My name's Mallory Cundiff, and I'm a young adult here at UUMAN. This morning I'm going to be reading you a reflection submitted anonymously by one of our own UUMAN young adults. For years now, scientists have been pleading with governments, corporations, and individuals to change their habits in order to protect the environment. These pleas were loud and clear in the weeks following Australia's wildfires, but they have since been drowned out by the news related to the COVID-19 pandemic. Human death rates have overshadowed Mother Earth. She exists literally and figuratively outside of the human world. Though we are completely dependent on natural elements such as trees, pollinators, and rain, they possess scientific mysteries outside of our comprehension. I believe this mysteriousness is part of the reason why people are reluctant to change their habits for the environment's sake. The average person, myself included, does not understand the science behind why wildfires are occurring at such an increasing rate. What the average person does understand is nature's settling effect. Seeking solace from troubling headlines, people have turned to the outdoors for comfort. It is one of the few places where we are still allowed, where it is still safe, assuming social distancing is followed, whereas nature's separation from the human world normally exists as a barrier, it is now a balm. We are reminded there is a world outside of COVID-19. Despite the constant setbacks it faces, it is still bursting with life. Spring's life gives way to human hope. Speaking to this hope is a diary entry written by Sylvia Plath, where she describes an experience with the outdoors. From this experience also, a faith arises to carry back to the human world of small lusts and deceitful pettiness. A faith, naive and childlike perhaps, born as it is from the infinite simplicity of nature. It is a feeling that no matter what the ideas or conduct of others, there is a unique rightness and beauty to life which it can be shared in openness, in wind and sunlight, with a fellow human being who believes in the same basic principles. The basic principle by which most people are leading their lives is stopping the spread of COVID-19. The disease has connected us with what we UUs call our common humanity. We are all depending on one another. This interconnectedness is felt when we experience the unique rightness and beauty to life possessed by nature. If possible, the next time you are feeling overwhelmed by COVID-19, put your head out the window and breathe in nature's uniting splendor. Then, as a thank you to the environment, turn off your AC.
Breathing in, I am aware of my pain. Breathing out, I am aware that I am not my pain. Breathing in, I am aware of my past. Breathing out, I am aware that I am not my past. Breathing in, I am aware of my anger. Breathing out, I am aware that I am not my anger. Breathing in, I am aware of my despair. Breathing out, I am aware that I am not my despair. Breathing in, I am aware of peace. Breathing out, I am aware that I am worthy of peace. Breathing in, I am aware of love. Breathing out, I am aware that I am worthy of love. Breathing in, I am aware of joy. Breathing out, I am aware that I am an agent of joy. Breathing in, I am aware of hope. Breathing out, I am aware that I am an agent of hope. Breathing in, I am aware.
In an effort to fulfill and further the vision and mission of this congregation, we ask that our members and friends bring forth and share their many and varied gifts. With this, we will now take the offering using the Givelify app.
I took my love and I took it down. I climbed a mountain and I turned around, and I saw my reflection in a snow-covered hill. The landslide brought me down. Mirror in the sky, what is love? Can the child that's in my heart rise above? Can I sail through the changing ocean tides? Can I handle the seasons of my life? Well, I've been afraid of changing, 'cause I built my life around you. Time makes you bolder, children get older, and I'm getting older too. Well, I took my love and I took it down. Well, I climbed a mountain and I turned around, and I saw my reflection in a snow-covered hill. The landslide brought me down. Mirror in the sky, what is love? Can the child that's in my heart rise above? Can I sail through the changing ocean tides? Can I handle the seasons of my life? I've been afraid of changing. side brought me down.
And let us now extinguish our chalice. We extinguish our chalice, yet may the flame of our community remain lit wherever we are. May it continue to light the way, guiding our faith into the future, giving warmth to our hearts and to our lives.
The next time you are feeling overwhelmed by COVID-19, put your head out the window and breathe in nature's uniting splendor. And then, as a thank you to the environment, turn off the AC.